What's up, guys? Welcome back to Rough Draft Research. We did year 3 players last week, and we're doing year 2 today. So the draft class of 2020, and got a lot of studs in here. Should be a pretty freaking good time. Once again, we're breaking them down into studs, starters,
holds,
and bust.
Yeah.
So without further ado, I'm gonna kick it over to you boys, and let's get into it.
Sweet.
Should we? I feel like we should talk about Julio Jones though first, right?
Yeah, man. Pump the brakes before you pump the gas.
No, so obviously Julio Jones got traded to the
Titans,
the Hennessy Titans,
the Hennessy Titans,
and yeah, he got traded for a second rounder and a fourth rounder, and they sent a sixth rounder back, right?
Correct.
I think that's big for Tennessee. I don't know that it's going to push them over the edge because I mean their defense was what fucked them last year. So, but Derrick Henry, AJ Brown, Julio Jones, that's hella sick. And last week we talked about Des Fitzpatrick. He's a non-factor now because of Julio.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the thing. I think it's incredible. I think that team is going to be over the top. I mean, you think about their defense isn't as bad as Dallas, right?
Pretty
I guess
bad.
so. Yeah, it was. I'm pretty sure it was the worst run defense.
They had the
in
worst
league.
Secondary. Actually, their run defense wasn't that bad, from what I remember.
31st in pass rush and 16th in secondary rank. So, what they
Damn.
do? And
Yeah.
they, yeah.
That's not So that's not as bad as I thought. But no, I'm being a little facetious because I always feel like these superstar trades go to teams that it's like, okay, great, like yes,
Doesn't move the needle.
it's gonna make your offense way better. You're right, but that wasn't your issue. It's not like the Titans had a bad offense. You know, like did they really need Julio Jones to replace Corey Davis, or could they just got, like another Corey Davis?
Yeah.
I mean,
Well, they could have probably replaced him.
Yeah, and especially what they paid for Julio Jones. Like, no, I'm not shitting on them. It just, I always think that's funny.
Yeah, yeah.
That's how it works out.
It feels like they could have got that replacement value there at the pick. They picked up at 109. They got Des Fitzpatrick. The 109th pick overall. So
Yeah.
there's probably some talent right there that could have been as good. But
I
who
mean,
knows?
the team wanted him though. So
Yeah.
I mean, if you add that to the locker room,
No.
AJ Brown's huge inspiration. Like motivation. So like at the end of the day, if that's what it takes to push them over the edge, and your star receiver learns from the great,
I mean,
why not?
He's already outdoing him the past 2 years. But I think that the thing is, Derrick Henry no longer has, 8 in the box against him.
Yeah.
So you're looking at that. And just to address the defense, they did pull in Bud Dupree, Janoris Jenkins, and Danico Autry. So they did something. They got a lot of vets in there,
That's
actually.
fair.
So
Okay.
we'll see what happens.
Yeah, no, I sounded like I hated it. I do. I
No.
like the trade.
Yeah.
It just, do I think that immediately makes the Titans like a Super Bowl favorite? No. Like,
Okay.
because to me, it's like, okay, yeah, you can put up 45 points, so can the Chiefs,
Right.
and watch what happened to them,
Yeah.
So,
No, I actually agree with you 100%. I just think that America's like high on Julio.
and
They're
that's
huffing the noise.
Yeah, I guess that's kind of my joke, is that it's like, yeah, it's a great trade, but also, like, let's think about the rest of their team.
Yeah.
Like, yes, it's cool that AJ Brown, Julio Jones, Derrick Henry are on the same team, but does that immediately make them this god tier team? I don't know about that. Like,
Right.
I do think it's funny the way Bleacher Report does that.
All the
Because
time.
like last year when Shady McCoy got signed to the Bucks, they're like,
Yeah.
oh my God, check out the new Bucks offense.
Yeah.
And it's got like Shady McCoy at the end. You're like, oh, okay.
Is he even going to get on the field? Like,
Hey,
Because he didn't in
yeah,
2019.
exactly.
Hey, back-to-back Super Bowl champs.
Yeah, so I'm kinda feeding off that joke,
Don't
but-
disrespect the two-time.
2-time. But no, I do think it is a great trade. Opens up AJ Brown.
Yeah.
And you're right. It does help Derrick Henry out a lot with not having those. You can't just set up and be like, okay, AJ Brown beat us because now you got both of them.
Right.
But also Julio is hurt a lot.
For sure.
He plays.
Yeah.
He's a tough son of a bitch. He always plays. But he's also always hurt, and you can kind of see it. So, I don't know.
That's interesting. My favorite thing was that AJ Brown was like, "What's your new number going to be?"
Yeah,
because got the locked down.
Number 2 now. Well, enough about those old receivers. Let's get into these year 2 receivers, and we're just going to kind of go in the order of how our dynasty draft went, just to keep it in a certain order. So let's start it off with Ceedee Lamb.
Okay. Well, Ceedee Lamb came in 2020, and he's filling that void that Randall Cobb and Jason Witten left. It's 160 targets available going into the year, and he grabbed up 111 of them. So he looked pretty unstoppable with Dak in there, and it was incredible, actually. He blew me away. He did take a step back when Dak got injured, but he still ended the year. Pretty strong numbers. You're talking about the wide receiver 20, 935 yards, 5 touchdowns, and Dak's going to be back, right? Mm-hmm. So I don't know. I look at him as a 1B in that offense, pushing Cooper, and I don't really trust the tight end room. So I think the targets are going to be there, and I think he's obviously a stud.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, I've got him as a stud too. He would have had. Maybe not the rookie season that Justin Jefferson had, but a comparable one with Dak Prescott if Prescott had stayed healthy. Because, you look at his numbers. He had 40 targets, 29 catches, 433 yards, and 2 touchdowns week 1 to 5 when Dak was healthy. So if you do that throughout the whole season, that's really fucking good. That's 1,600 yards, 8 touchdowns. Obviously – not expecting him to keep that numbers up exactly, but he would have had an even better season. So, yeah, he's absolutely a stud in my opinion. He's a guy that everybody should want on their dynasty team. He's only 22 years old.
Yeah. He's a guy you're gonna have to be talking about a redraft or a startup because you're not gonna be able to get him on your team.
Nobody's gonna trade you Ceedee Lamb anymore.
No, not at all. And he's got that top 5 quarterback potential, and the defense is still leaky,
which helps him
exactly. So there's to me, he's to me probably top 10 this year. I hope.
Yeah, I could easily see that.
You're the proud sponsor of Jerry Jeudy.
I do. I love me some Jerry Jeudy. So yeah, I normally let you handle the receivers, but I will take this one
absolutely.
Jerry Jeudy didn't have the best rookie year ever, but he had 110 targets. He just only caught 52 of them, 856 yards and 3 touchdowns. Those numbers aren't that far off from Ceedee Lamb if you look at it.
For sure.
But he just had terrible QB play. I will say he did have a drop issue. He had 12 drops, which is pretty crazy, but he never really had that in college. He had 7 drops in 2019. That was the most he ever had. So maybe he just forgot how to catch a ball from 2018 to 2020. But
Tua.
I just doubt that. I think so. Going into his bad quarterback play, of those 110 targets, only 71 of those passes were deemed catchable.
Wow.
So that's over 30 passes that were uncatchable going Jerry Jeudy's way. Yeah. So I don't really think it's his fault. And the drops kind of hurt his adjusted catch rate. It was still only 73%.
Right.
Adjusted catch rate. But I expect Jeudy to overcome those drop issues. His biggest issue is just the quarterback.
Yeah.
He needs a good quarterback. And also, even on the drop issue, 5 of those came against the Raiders in the late season. So really, if you take that horrible game away, then he had 7 again, which is still not great. But yeah, if you give him a quarterback, I think he's a stud. But right now, I actually have Jerry Jeudy as a starter.
Yeah, I actually have him as a starter as well. And I think you touched on a lot of things. There's a huge potential for the touchdowns to increase.
Yeah.
But one thing I'll say about Jerry Jeudy that is locking him out of the stud game besides Drew Lock is I can really see this offense is making a push towards the run game.
That's fair.
Especially they got Melvin Gordon and Javonte Williams now. So that's a 1-2 punch that's nasty. And it could give the open looks that Locke needs to get some of these guys the yards. But I do think the big plays are about the only way that they put these kind of numbers up. You know, I don't think that...
And yeah, speaking of the big plays, he was averaging 16.5 yards per reception.
Yeah, that's huge.
Last year. And I'm with you with everything you said.
Yep.
Drew Lock might not be the starter.
Yeah, that's true. Teddy B in the house.
Apparently him and Teddy B have already developed, Jerry Jeudy and Terry Bridgewater have already developed a pretty good relationship from everything I've been reading. So who knows? But even Teddy Bridgewater...
For sure. Yeah, it feels downright dirty that they have all these guys, you know. Like Hamler and Seth Williams, even Tim Patrick.
Yeah,
and,
they're all good.
And fucking Sutton. It's like, ugh.
They probably have the deepest wide receiver core in the league.
For sure.
Like,
now it's at it. I mean, it's great. It's incredible. But this might be a good time to buy low on Jerry Jeudy, though. Because if you're looking at Cortland Sutton is in the last year of his rookie deal, they got to do something.
Yeah.
I mean, even if Teddy Bridgewater is playing, it's like a Carolina situation where, you know, he's got to get us through a year. So,
and on that note, I will say a lot of people have been trying to buy Jerry Jeudy low away from me, and I'm not an idiot, so I'm not going to do that.
I am an idiot.
I do think you're right. Like, if you can get Jerry Jeudy for a cheaper price, somebody that's scared of his rookie season, somebody that's scared of the QB situation, I'm just not letting him go, you know, because I believe in the talent.
But if you want to talk about guys that you cannot go get, Justin Jefferson.
What a segue.
Studly
Vikings. Skull Vikings. Let's go. I just wanted to pop on the camera to say that. Back to you.
Hey,
love your Minnesota shirt, by the way.
Hey, anytime, man. Golden Gophers. Here we go. Rashad the God. Taking it up a notch. All right. So what are you going to say? I do have to say that it was really cool that these top three guys didn't miss any time. They're all healthy the whole year. And that is obviously a huge boost. But these past few years, we're seeing rookies come in and change the landscape of a whole team's offense. And it's pretty cool. So I'm all in, and hopefully Rashad can jump in on that this year.
Yeah.
But we're looking at Justin Jefferson, and he comes in, and no one can replace the one and only.
Yeah.
You know, the Diggs in the nation, dude. He's amazing. I love Stephon Diggs.
Hashtag must love Diggs.
You must love Stephon Diggs. We got him in a Mount Rushmore photo in the corner because he is a national treasure. But then what happens? Justin Jefferson rolls up on 1,400 yards as a rookie and 7 touchdowns. And he does it on 88 catches. Like, what the fuck, man?
Hey,
That's insane.
can we just all take a moment to just laugh at the Eagles real quick?
Oh, dude.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, you laugh, I cry.
Packers.
Yeah.
He should have been in green and gold. What are we doing?
Oh, my goodness.
Blasphemy.
So, you know, I like to make a note of any coaching changes, but are we calling Clint Kubiak a coaching change?
Gary Kubiak?
Yeah,
Who the fuck is? Oh,
his
Clint
son.
is
His
son.
His son's the
No,
OC
it's
now.
the same. It's the same.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, it's going to be the same offense.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think Kubiak's still going, like Gary Kubiak is still like running it from like
just
a cell
at
phone,
home.
like
Yeah.
texting.
Well, cool. I mean, this guy's got 16 yards per catch from Kirk Cousins, which means that it is not air yards. Like, he is nasty. He's a stud. He's out of this world. I don't even know what to say about him. The fact that he slipped to 22nd in the NFL draft is, like, that's some sad-ass bullshit.
Bananas for sure. No, I mean, all I had to say was there's not much to say about him except that he's a stud.
Yeah.
So I'm with you 100%. Like,
And he's got Thielen and Irv Smith, you know?
Yeah.
So,
He's a guy that if you already have him tight, and if you want him, you're not going to get him.
I was talking to the guy, man. I said some stuff to him. He's like, yeah, that would be fair if I was going to move him. And I was like, all right.
Yeah.
It's a foot in the
That's
door.
how you get it in there.
I mean, you want to feel sorry for the Eagles. I mean,
Good old Jaelon Reagor up next.
Yeah, man. Jaelon Reagor. Like, to me, oh my God, I don't know what. I think I want to buy low on this guy. I feel like the opportunity is there. He's a hold for me, obviously. So he missed 5 games. He had 31 receptions for 396 yards and a touchdown. So not a great yards per target. It's about 13. But damn, dude, he came in and it was just plenty of opportunity. Alshon Jeffrey had gone. Nelson Aguilar is out of town. So there's nearly 100 targets available for him, and it was just a bad year in Philadelphia. You know, Wentz couldn't do his thing. He couldn't own the job, and none of the receivers were looking to really step up, and it was like a no man's land. And now we have, you know, Hurts is in the house. He's going to step up in a big way, and then they bring in the Heisman Trophy winner. So all of a sudden, Reagor is in the back seat, and I think that's where he could thrive, you know, as a number 2 guy. I think there's some potential. He's a hold for me, definitely not a starter, but I feel like with the draft capital, you got to give the guy a second year. You know, we can't just get enamored with these rookies thinking year 1 is the only year. You know, what have you done for me lately? From an investment standpoint, you got to give him a little bit of hope.
Yeah, I'm with you. I made a face when you said that you want to buy him low, and I'm just like, if I had him, I'd hold him. So he's a hold for me. I mean, the Eagles have just been, hysterically bad at wide receiver choices.
Yeah.
And
it looked like they turned that around a little this year.
I mean, yeah, maybe, but we never know. But I'm with you. It's hard to judge them after how bad 2020 was. I mean, Jaelon Reagor, his catch percentage was 57%.
Yeah.
It jumps up to 84 if you remove the uncatchable balls. Pretty fucking substantial jump. So, yeah, I mean, maybe if he gets a more consistent passer and a more consistent offensive line kind of helps the passer out. But then now you're worried because Smith comes in. Does that hurt or help him? You're saying it could help him, and yeah, it could, but it also might hurt him because he only got 14% of the target share last year. So, like, okay, now you got Devonta Smith coming in. He's going to get fed the ball like a motherfucker. You know he is.
That's true.
But, you know, it could open Jaelon Reagor up. I just don't know if I'm interested in, like, trying to go out and get him. If I have him, definitely don't get rid of him.
Okay.
Like, hold on to him.
I'm not chasing him. But if I can throw him into a deal or something.
Okay, well, then that's fair. Yeah,
I'd be happy to roster him.
I'd be fine with that. Like, if he's on your roster or if you can get him just as, like, almost an afterthought just to see what happens.
Right.
I don't have that much faith that he's going to turn it around.
Yeah.
I think is my issue. So it would have to be like, oh, instead of a late second, why don't you just throw in Jaelon Reagor? Like, kind of a trade.
Yeah,
you know?
I like
and
that.
And I would be fine with that.
But you look, so a new head coach, you know, the OC from Indies in the house, and then the offensive coordinator is the Chargers' old OC.
Yeah.
So you have a fresh game plan. Obviously, guys were being underutilized. You have Kerryon Johnson and Kenneth Gainwell in the house to go along with Boston Scott and Miles Sanders. So it's
they're
super
throwing a lot of darts at the wall.
Right, but if you look at last year, they didn't have any darts, and so they were just throwing. Yeah, I don't. You said the catchable targets were garbage. So
100%.
They didn't have the options. But when you talk about a guy that has a draft capital that you're out on, to me that sounds a lot like Henry Ruggs as well.
Yeah.
So between those guys, it's a tough Like, who would you rather have on that deal?
Damn.
Honestly, Reagor. Also, before we get into that, king of the segways over here today.
I was
God,
just
man.
about to say that. That was a
Holy
king.
shit. Fire like a motherfucker.
I'm on one.
Oh,
It's
man.
my wide
I mean,
receivers.
you should just keep it going. It's like poetry at this point.
Yeah, I think I slowed down.
Poetry and slow
But to
motion.
answer that question, I think I would rather have Reagor, but I am also famously hating on John Gruden and the Raiders. Like, I just don't understand what they're doing. So,
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, we can get into it. I'll let you. You're the wide receiver guru. You talk
You got
about
it,
your
man. I'm going to talk
shit.
about running backs tonight, though. With the way we're breaking it out, it's like, we all got to talk about
Well, I gotta
everything.
steal some motherfuckers then. Hang on.
It's all good, man. You prep it up. I don't have a lot to say about Ruggs because I'm a Waller, rosterer and a huge Bryan Edwards truther. I overpaid for Bryan Edwards, and that's why I went after Terrace Marshall, because I didn't want it to cost me more after the draft, when he blew up. So anyway, prior to Ruggs arriving, it was all Waller, The season in 2019, you had Hunter Renfrow and Tyrell Williams leading the team with around 600 passing yards each. So it's wide open. Ruggs comes in, 12th overall pick. Oh, my Gruden.
Yeah.
Oh, man. And then Waller comes in and just says, hey, this is still my team. I don't even know who you are. Jason Witten, Foster Moreau. Like, why are you guys even tight ends? Just hang out. Be wide receivers. The opportunity's there. So Ruggs comes in, does absolutely nothing, in my opinion. He's got 26 catches for 452 yards, which is a good average, and 2 touchdowns. Missed 3 games, so there is that. But I don't know. I'm over the Derek Carr thing. Like, I've been waiting for Derek Carr, believing in him. He's middle of the road. When's he going to be better? Oh, he doesn't have the weapons. But you can't tell me that Ruggs isn't that weapon,
Yeah.
He's a wide receiver to the likes that he's never really had since Amari Cooper left. And I don't think Ruggs can fill that role. I don't think Carr can supply that skill set, the complement as a passer. That's why I'm in on Edwards. That's why I'm very happy to have Waller on my side. But I don't really have a ton of hope. He's a hold for me.
I mean, he's definitely a hold, but in my opinion, it's just because his value's never been lower. He's definitely one of those guys. If the first 3 weeks of the season he pops up for like 16, 25, 18, I'm shopping that dude.
Yeah,
hard.
for sure.
Because I'm with you. I don't really believe in it. He missed a few games last year, like you said, but he was only averaging 6.6 points per game when he was playing, which is just not something I want, especially out of the 12th overall pick. Like, hard pass on that. His true or adjusted catch rate was 74%. So, and it was 61 before the adjustment. So it wasn't even that crazy. Like, it's just not a guy that I'm super excited about, like, but definitely hold him just because there's no point in trading him, because you're going to get a weak return on him.
Right.
So, like, just wait, see if he pops off. But honestly, I don't have a lot of faith that he's going to do it. Like,
No.
at all.
No, I mean, and it's like a weird coaching, weird quarterback, and they can't. I don't think that Gruden is willing to coach towards Carr's strengths.
No.
So it's just going to be, hey, Waller, like you are like, this is what I can do. So I'm just going to do this. Obviously, they're not building the offense around for me to be successful. So, and obviously we know what Ruggs is. He's a deep threat, a burner.
And that's it. That's all, and that's fine.
Yeah.
And Gruden is definitely the guy that's like, oh, Jason Witten? I know that name. Like, let me hire him for no reason.
Oh, yeah. We
did the same
met at a
thing.
fundraiser once.
He did the same thing with Jordy Nelson. And I fucking love Jordy Nelson, obviously. Growing up Packers fan, I've been a Packers fan my whole life. Jordy Nelson's one of my boys, but like...
Shout out Riley County up in the house.
As soon as he left Green Bay that year, it was like...
What up?
I'm sorry, like... He's not going to go anywhere and be nearly as good as he was with Aaron Rodgers. And who scooped him up? Fucking John Gruden. What did he do? Nothing. But John Gruden was like, oh, Jordy Nelson? That guy that had 15 touchdowns in 2014? Oh, let me get that guy. Like he's just... It just doesn't make any sense. And that's why he saw Henry Ruggs' tape and was like, that guy's so fast. Let me go get him. And I don't know.
It's just too bad.
Yeah.
That team needs a new coach and a new quarterback.
Yeah.
Which brings us to Denzel Mims, man.
Yeah.
So
getting both those things.
He's got, I mean, I don't know. Zach Wilson? I'm so scared and excited about him. But then you got Matt LaFleur, so we've talked Mike LaFleur. Oh,
I hope they didn't get Matt LaFleur. God, we're going to lose our quarterback and our coach? Fuck.
That'd be crazy. Maybe it takes
That'd be pretty
Rodgers
cool.
with him. So Mike LaFleur, my bad. So San Francisco passing game coordinator. So to me, Denzel Mims, I was pretty excited about him. I was okay with what he did. In his rookie year, that's 23 catches, 357 yards with no touchdowns. With Sam Darnold, kind of makes sense, He didn't really play out of the slot, which was, if you're not out of the slot, then you're not doing anything with Sam Darnold in 2020. So, but he comes into the team, and there's 96 available targets from Robbie Anderson's departure. Injury limits him. He missed 7 games, only has 44 targets. But, he did okay. He had a typical rookie year where he was building towards something. And then here comes the new coaching staff. Here comes Zach Wilson, upgraded O-line. This is good. This is good. Oh, shit. They fucking bring in Corey Davis, and then they draft Elijah Moore. And then Jamison Crowder's still on the team. So I kind of feel like Mims ends up being the forgotten guy on this team a little bit.
See, I would disagree. I'd just push back a little bit. It seems like they're already shopping Crowder.
Yeah.
Like, they're already kind of being like, oh, you're making $10 million this year.
They asked him to take a pay cut, didn't
they? Yeah, they asked him to take a pay cut. We just brought in Elijah Moore, who does everything that you do but is younger.
Right.
Like, we don't want to pay you $10 million. I feel like Crowder could end up being cut.
Absolutely.
And I think it ends up being Davis, Mims, and Moore.
Yeah.
Which is, I'm fine with that if I'm a Mims owner, I have Mims as like a weak starter hold, like
have him as a hold.
Yeah, and so I think he could produce for you. I mean, like you said, he missed 7 games last year.
Yep.
He was averaging more points per game than Ruggs was. Like,
for sure. I'd rather have him than Ruggs.
I would absolutely rather have Mims
Reagor.
than Ruggs and Reagor. Yeah, I'm 100% with you.
Yeah. So no, for me, it's just like this is a new team, a new coaching staff, a new quarterback, a new running back, and 2 new wide receivers brought in by that new staff.
That's fair.
So I'm excited for him because I always thought he was good. Was out of Baylor, right? And I loved his tape. I thought he got slept on a little bit in the NFL draft. So I'm excited for him, but I just worry.
Yeah, for sure. And I need to probably reel back my Jets love so far without seeing anything, but that's one of the reasons.
That's another thing is I don't know. I love all the Jets players. I love them all, even Herndon.
Yeah.
And but I just until Zach Wilson plays a game, I'm not pursuing any of those players.
Yeah.
Really, except
then it might be too late.
Yeah, exactly. And that's one thing. There's not a ton of them, but there are more than usual to have gutted coaching staffs and new quarterback situations this year. So the landscape, it's not good. It's not a good year for hesitation and risk adverse moves,
And then just one more point that I want to have about Mims. Man, he's kind of old for a second-year guy. He's 24 years old. Like, all these other guys are 22.
Baylor.
Like, it's just kind of weird. But that's not stopping me from going out and getting him. But, like, I mean, Juju's 24.
Yeah, Curtis Samuel's 24.
Yeah.
Every time people talk about how young Juju is, I'm just going to say Curtis Samuel because he's only 3 months older.
It's the same thing.
It is the exact same thing.
Funny enough, I you guys know I've been getting in the card game,
Okay.
I invested is a loose word because the cards were very cheap in Denzel Mims rookie cards. Because if for some reason he pops off in that market and people are super excited, ooh, baby.
Nice.
100%. Yeah.
But let's move on to T. Higgins. I believe T not even worth a second. Higgins is what he goes by.
Not even worth a second.
I'm just kidding. I'll cut that out. That was for our own entertainment.
Super interesting one because like he had such a great rookie season. If you look at it, 105 targets, 67 catches, 908 yards, 6 touchdowns. But now the Bengals bring in Chase. They still have Tyler Boyd. Higgins was getting 20% of those targets last year. Do you think he still gets that with Chase?
Yes.
Yeah? Okay.
Yes.
Well, let's talk about it.
Yes. Yeah. I think that T. Higgins has a huge amount of potential. So I'll just run it back like I do. So in 2019, Alex Erickson and Auden Tate were still around in 2020 as well. And he had over 100 targets. So he beat out the resident dudes on the team. I think he established himself pretty well. 935 yards as a rookie is pretty damn impressive. And the 5 touchdowns. I think that having Chase there opens up the offense a little more. They don't have a real strong tight end situation. And I do like Tyler Boyd, but if you think about Tyler Boyd and A.J. Green and Higgins, they all had over 100 targets. And I don't think that number's going down just because Jamar Chase showed up. I mean, Jamar Chase is going to be the more valuable guy to have.
Yeah.
But I think that Higgins is definitely a starter with stud potential in my opinion.
I have him as a starter as well, for sure. Like, don't get it twisted. It was more of just a thought experiment question.
Oh, sure.
But no, I'm with you. I think he's a starter 100%. You can have him as a third receiver and feel pretty good about it.
Yep. You think he'll do better than Boyd, or who would you rather have between him and Boyd? That's the question.
Boyd.
I'd probably want to have Boyd, but also Higgins is a lot younger. How old is Boyd?
I'm going to say he's 27. But
26. Yeah, so I'd probably want to have Higgins just because of the age factor and the fact that he had 120 whatever targets. So that's where I'd go. So yeah, no, I'm with you. I like him. I would like to have him, and I think he's about worth a second round pick, Ian.
Talking about guys that are worth a second or were seconds in our draft, we're moving on to Micheal Pittman Jr. So I feel like 2019 was a weird year, the year prior to Pittman joining the team. And Zach Pascal led the team with 607 yards. T.Y. Hilton was in the house. And then you come into 2020, Paris Campbell is injured. Pittman was just okay. He was third in receiving on the team. And I was hoping he'd be number one. I really liked his film coming out of USC. And now Wentz is in the house. Is that a passing upgrade over Phillip Rivers? It has to be, right?
I think it absolutely can be, but the issue, which is basically all I said about Pittman, is it's super hard to evaluate because it's all going to depend on Wentz. Is Wentz broken? Like, is 2020 Wentz who he is now?
Yeah.
Or is he the guy that everyone was super hyped about? Or is he somewhere in between? Even if he's in between, I think that's huge for Pittman.
Yeah.
Because the 2017 Carson Wentz was this incredible talent that everybody was talking up like he was going to be the next big thing. And then he's fallen off a bit, but was it because they allowed him to get sacks 56 times before he got benched this season? Or was it because he literally he just forgot how to play quarterback? In my opinion, I don't believe he forgot how to play quarterback. It was just a terrible situation last year. So I'm pretty high on Pittman. Yeah. But it is 100% on whether or not Wentz shows up and is that dude. If he's not, then your Pittman stock goes through the floor as well.
Yeah, I actually I agree with you, but I think there's another layer to the uncertainty there, and that's T.Y. Hilton is still there. Like, there is a world where T.Y. is still T.Y.
Yeah, for sure.
There's a world where Paris Campbell is healthy. Mm-hmm. And then there's a world where they run 12 personnel and just run these fucking tight ends through the roof, man. Plus, you got Naheem Hines. Like, he's not giving up targets. It's not going to be Phillip Rivers-esque, but I think that there's a pretty good chance that a lot of the targets still end up going to the running backs.
Yeah.
Hopefully Jonathan Taylor. But you never know. But they pull in Kyle Granson, and they already have Mo Alley Cox and Jack Doyle. So I really want Pittman to emerge as the number one, and I think he has the potential to be the alpha there. I was really glad that they were kind of skittish on the draft this year. Mm-hmm. But I keep asking myself, are we going to miss out on Zach Pascal being a wide receiver 2 in 2021?
I mean, you could. Yeah, I don't know.
He's been so consistent. You know?
Yeah, he really has. Yeah, I mean, it's so hard because there's a few of these guys that I just didn't know what to do with because of there's just so many question marks. Because if Wentz shows up and just him and Pascal are playing Madden every night or playing Call of Duty and they just vibe super hard and then he throws to this consistent ass target, like, what are you gonna do? Like, that's just what happens. But I think Pittman is a more talented guy, and I get your fear of T.Y. Hilton, but T.Y. Hilton signed a 1-year deal. He's in his 30s. Like, yeah, if you're looking for a championship, that would scare me. But if you want Pittman just as a guy on your roster to hold on to, which is where I have him, by the way, as a hold, then I think that's fine. Like, even if he's not the guy this year, I don't think they re-signed T.Y. Hilton again.
No.
It was more of a, favor to T.Y., in my opinion.
I think that was a favor to Carson Wentz to have.
Yeah, that's fine, too. Like, it works in multiple ways, but I don't think... Had the salary cap been normal, I don't know that the Colts would have re-signed T.Y. Hilton, to be honest. Because they got him really cheap. They could have gone after one of these big receivers, which... in my opinion, they should have with all the money they had, but that's a salary cap rant I can get onto later. But
yeah, we got the whole summer. Yeah, I lean towards starter just because everything there to me is a question mark, and if everything goes straight down the middle, he's still the number one wide receiver on that team.
Yeah.
So speaking of number one wide receivers on their team, I got a stud coming my way.
Ooh.
Oh, someone changed out the laundry to get Aiyuk up in this house. So
The tag, son.
still got the tags because he's not convinced he's not going to trade him and have to send that jersey to whoever.
Yes, I might return it. Brandon Aiyuk on the block.
That's beautiful. So, I talk a little bit about the 2019 year, what was happening before. Aiyuk ended up on the scene. So Kittle and Debo combined for 1,800 yards, and they made that offense look amazing. Obviously, 2019, they drove it all the way to the Super Bowl, and then something weird happened in the second half of that game, and the Chiefs won the Super Bowl, baby.
Boo.
But last year wasn't quite the same, because we had Kittle and Debo both missing a lot of time due to injuries. So Aiyuk was able to step up, and he played a hell of a good. I thought the numbers were good. He missed 3 games, but he had about 750 yards, 5 touchdowns on 60 catches. And now, are we saying Trey Lance is the starter week 1? Because I nope.
No.
Nope. Okay.
I don't think so. I don't think his passing's ready.
Okay.
That's just, that's 100% could be wrong.
Oh,
but
no.
If you're going to do that.
I'm just excited like it's happening.
There's no reason to keep Jimmy G at that point. Like, why not let him learn? A little bit. Like, there's
it's
no
a smart thing to do.
Yeah, there's no point to start him week 1.
Yeah.
Once you are middling, because you always are when you have Jimmy G, even when he wins you some games.
Right.
Throw Trey Lance in there. I don't see him being the starter week 1.
The only reason I could see it is that you kind of have to stay sharp in that division.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. No,
And
I guess okay. So if I'm betting right now, no, I don't think he's the starter week 1 trade.
Right on.
But
if you're coaching the team right now,
if I'm coaching, I hate Jimmy G, so I would definitely put Trey Lance. But if I'm not surprised. Like if they announce that I wouldn't be like, oh my god, that's the craziest thing I've ever seen. You know? Like no, it would make sense to me. But just if I'm betting, I'm saying Jimmy G starts at least the first 3 weeks. When they beat the Eagles, get whooped by the Seahawks and the Colts, Trey Lance comes in to face the Cardinals. That's my opinion.
okay, I like that.
Thank you, AJ.
I would let it slide to week 5, man. Give him his first game against Trevor Lawrence and let him know why they fucked up by not picking him number 1. But another thing about this team you have to consider is that the run game coordinator is now the OC, and they drafted 2 running backs that we are very, very happy about, as in Trey Sermon and Elijah Mitchell, our boys.
The soon-to-be rough draft research San Francisco Wars.
Oh,
That's
dude, one of
right,
these
man.
episodes, we're going to have an Aiyuk, a Sermon, and a Mitchell jersey.
Oh,
Let's
yeah.
go.
God.
It's going to be pretty tight. Yeah, well, I'll bet a gold nugget on my boy Sermon there. But you gotta move on. But I'm excited about
You're
that.
just mining for laughs at this point.
Shit. But I'm excited about that week 5 matchup. You know, the first 2 rookies off the board there.
Yeah.
So we'll see what Trevor Lawrence can do, especially he's going to have Laviska Shenault on his side. And the buzz is getting nuts over there in Jacksonville. I have this guy as a starter, and I also have DJ Chark on the roster. So I'm like, fuck, what's happening? But Shenault came in, and he did pretty well. He missed 2 games, but he put up 600 yards and 5 touchdowns on 58. So it was okay. But if you think about that offense, you know, they were running the ball. James Robinson was doing his thing, and Minshew was fighting for his life, and he lost it. Too bad. But
Too bad they didn't improve that offensive line at all. You know,
I know.
could have done that with all that money they had, but you know, Urban Meyer's got to just make fun of DJ Chark for being slow.
Tim
Yeah.
Tebow.
Oh yeah, I forgot they got Tim Tebow. Fucking Urban Meyer. Sorry.
No, you're good, dude. Oh man. So I just think that the potential with him is incredible. He's got 3 more years with the Trevor Lawrence, you know, at the minimum. So that's pretty incredible. He's got a different kind of play style from Chark, so I think that they can be complementary and very impressive.
Yeah, I don't think they hurt each other at all.
And you know, I don't know. Laviska was someone that was kind of weird. Like he was kind of a gadgety type in college and coming off an injury, and no one knew what was going to happen.
Sounds like a guy that Urban Meyer would be super into.
Yeah, but I think that he's found his foothold, and I think he's gonna make a name for himself. I'm pretty excited about him. I have him as a starter. I'm optimistic that he's going to come in and do some solid stuff. I don't know.
I have him as a whole,
Yeah.
just because. I mean, I don't know if it's coming as a surprise to anyone. I don't like Urban Meyer or the Jaguars, really. So it just kind of stresses me out. You never know what you're gonna get. I get it. Training camps. He's the most athletic person on earth. Mm-hmm. I understand, but he's definitely a whole trending starter for me. Like I'm not that down on him at all. Like he did put up good numbers for a rookie with a shitty offensive line, and I love Gardner Minshew as much as the next guy, but let's be real, he is what he is. He's a C+ quarterback at best.
Nice.
So,
well, it's funny. I was talking to a dude at work, and his daughter's husband went to high school with Gardner Minshew and played wide receiver. And he said that, it was kind of funny. Anyway, he's telling me about Minshew. It was interesting.
No, I think he's a great dude, but I think you can watch him and know, like, that's what makes him a C+ guy is he's got all these. He does show you some stuff. Like, he randomly has a play where he just delivers it right on target while he's running away, and you're like, damn, man, why was this guy a 6th or 7th round draft pick, whatever he was? And then all of a sudden he sails a ball like 15 yards over somebody's head, and you're like, oh, that's why.
Yeah.
You know, so...
No, I mean, he wasn't ever the final answer there.
And so I think Shenault putting up numbers with somebody like that, somebody that's good, not great, that's pretty impressive. So if Trevor Lawrence comes in, isn't running for his life, which, you know, who knows if he will be since they didn't spend any money. But if he comes in and is the guy we think he should be, then Shenault should be a starter, maybe even a low-tier stud.
Yeah, well, that's the thing for me. So he's a big man in the slot.
Yeah.
So tell me about Clemson and the slot receivers, you know?
Yeah, that's fair.
That's why I'm getting excited.
That's fair.
So I think obviously Etienne's taken catches away from him, and then you got Darrell Bevel coming in, who's got the connection with Marvin Jones Jr.
Yeah.
And then we all know DJ Chark's been hitting the gym, you know, he's the next Michael Thomas.
Yeah, because he fucking sucks.
Yeah, he's the worst the worst wide receiver ever. And
terrible.
He looked like a paper bag in the wind out there.
Such great coaching advice, man. Like, hey, how about you just be Michael Thomas? Like, how about you just do that?
Yeah.
And you're like, oh, man,
have you seen
sorry,
the movie
Coach.
Face
I
Off?
never fucking thought about that.
I haven't seen it.
Fucking. But no, I like to shit on him because that's that recurring theme that I get to have. But no, I'm with you 100%.
Yeah, don't worry, man. We'll have our torch match for Urban here next summer. I hope he, you know, whatever. I hope he does okay. Obviously, they're not going to do great, but you know, they only have the most heralded quarterback since
Andy Luck.
Andrew Luck. So, but if we want to talk about herald quarterbacks, what about Big Benjamin, dude? That guy is scaring the shit out of me, man.
Anyone ever called him Big Benjamin? That might be a first.
Big Benjamin. I like it. It makes me happy. But we're going to talk about... So I had Shenault as a starter. Obviously, that's an iffy.
Yeah.
But I do like him. I hope he doesn't put Chark in the rear view, but I could see a 1A, 1B thing going there. So I'm excited about that with a team that's going to have to pass because their defense isn't that great either. So anyway.
Yeah, it sucks that they didn't have any money to spend to fix those issues.
I know. It sucks that they... couldn't have brought in like a seasoned NFL coach to turn that program around.
Couldn't do that. Anyway,
speaking of seasoned NFL coaches, you know, I like that Mike Tomlin.
Are we doing a double? You're doing a double speaking of. You're doing a double speaking of.
All right.
I'm sorry, guys. I didn't mean like I hit it hard, and now I'm trying to keep it going. Like we're running out of gas, but we're also going downhill, so we'll be all right. We'll get where we're going.
Right. I thought you were gonna do like, oh yeah, urban. Speaking of urban, let's go to a rural city up in Pittsburgh.
Oh my goodness.
But anyway, Chase
Speaking
Claypool.
of a bad offensive line, guess who else is chasing Claypool's? Anyway, so Claypool comes into an established receiving core, and then he ends up scoring 9 touchdowns as a rookie. And so that's pretty incredible. 873 yards on 62 catches. He was healthy the whole season, which is awesome. And now we're looking at Juju on a 1 year. You got Deontay. And so if we're looking at the targets last season, it's 144 for Deontay, which I think is his max. Juju was a 128, and then Claypool a 109. I kind of look for those guys to all equalize in the 120 range, maybe the 110 or 100 range, because I think Najee's taken at least 60 of those targets, mostly out of the pocket of Deontay Johnson on account of those short range passes that he was getting. But one thing I don't think is that those targets are coming from Chase Claypool, because you're talking about 14 yards per reception. This is some deeper stuff. This is aggressive play in the red zone. This is the kind of stuff that every offense needs. He's amazing, man. He's like Mike Evans in the future, I think. I am super into Chase Claypool, and I'm sad that I didn't pick him up, because we all had the opportunity. He was the 212 in our draft, and it's a single tier on that because this guy is incredible. I don't know, man. I have him as a starter. It sounds like he's a stud, but I have him as a starter.
I have him as a hold, and
Damn.
Hey, here's the thing. I agree with everything you said about him.
Yeah, Benjamin.
I agree that he is a stud. He's a great red zone weapon. My issue is with the quarterback position.
Yeah.
Because, okay, Ben's coming back. What the hell is Ben going to be this year? We don't know. Like, towards the end of the year last year, he sucked. Like, let's not sugarcoat it. He was awful. And then next year, I'm assuming that Ben retires. Obviously. Juju gets to move on. Deontay and Claypool are still there. And maybe Juju doesn't move on, but I'm assuming he would. Yeah, I would too.
Should have gone to Kansas City.
And now I think the Steelers are going to be good enough to not get a top-tier rookie quarterback next year.
Who do you do? Fucking Dwayne Haskins, man.
Yeah, they got Haskins and Mason Rudolph.
Hey,
like,
don't forget Jameis Winston.
Winston.
I mean, yeah, but these are all ifs.
He's going to be in Denver or Pittsburgh, right? Winston ain't staying.
These are all ifs, man. Like, if frogs had pockets, they'd carry guns and shoot snakes. Like, you know, like, I can't.
That's a big pocket for a frog, though. Like extra flies in case they got hungry and need a snack. I could buy that.
I don't know. That's what makes me worried about him, is because he had this great rookie season, and he did, and he looked great. He obviously proved that he has the talent to be a 1 or 2 receiver in this league. Without question, I would never deny that. But I mean, again, look at Jerry Jeudy. He has the talent to be a number 1, and he had a quarterback that fucked him all year last year.
Hell yeah.
And I could see Claypool doing the same thing, you know?
Yeah, I'm with you.
Maybe not this year, but
I just don't see Big Ben being Big Benjamin.
that bad. Big Benjamin.
Large Benjamin. I don't see him being any worse than he was last year. And I talk about these 3 guys, and we're talking about a combination between them of over 370 targets. And that's not to mention the other receiving options. And it was all because they were asking Big Ben to do too much because the running game wasn't there. And when Najee Harris is a Big Ben's best friend this year.
Yeah, so I'm saying if the running game gets better, is he throwing 300 targets to 3 guys?
No.
If they can run for more than 3 yards a carry?
Exactly.
So,
the targets are coming from not Chase Claypool, though, in my opinion.
Okay. Well, and
I think his targets are safe, basically.
Well, that's fair. Like, I wouldn't be upset to have Chase Claypool, but I just think he's a hold.
Okay.
And wait. I mean, I wouldn't be mad if I started Chase Claypool 1 week, you know.
Yeah, and I'm looking at I think by the end of the season, he's the number 1 option in Pittsburgh.
Again, that would not surprise me at all. Just like the last thing,
like Bryan Edwards.
Dude, you feeding off that Segway energy, huh?
I'm not walking anymore. It's only Segways now.
Oh Jesus!
Now I would not be shocked either way if Claypool ends up as like a guy that everyone's trying to trade 3 first-round picks for, or if he ends up as the guy that somebody started 5 times this year and it fucked him, you know.
Oh yeah, that's Deontay Johnson.
That's fine too.
Yeah. Actually, to segue off that energy, I feel like whoever the owner of Chase Claypool is definitely going to like roll into that energy next year. It's like now is the time to decide. Like his value is so high. So there's going to be like a big regret or a big payoff for sure.
Well, I think that's something that we don't really ever talk about. But if you see a guy starting Claypool and him not taking those steps early, that's when you target him. Because if you have a guy on your bench that you're holding and he doesn't perform well, that's what a bench is for. That's for guys you don't want on your lineup. But if they start starting Claypool and he doesn't take off early, that's when they start to build up a spite towards him, and you go after that.
That's fair.
I really like that.
I look for if he's starting Claypool over somebody I like better.
Okay.
Because he's got this Claypool hype. And
you're buying the insurance.
He benches, I don't know. Who's somebody I don't know a name off the top of my head.
Corey Davis?
Yeah. If he's benching Corey Davis and starting Claypool, I'll trade him for Corey Davis.
That's neck and neck to me.
Yeah, it's neck and neck, but I have more faith in Corey Davis, and apparently you could get him for like a late second round pick.
Yeah,
from
he's
this
a
guy
way more
he's
affordable than
benching
Pittman.
him. Yeah, Pittman or Claypool.
Oh, or
so
Higgins. Sorry, I fucked that up.
Yeah, like literally just throw him like a late second and be like, hey man, I see you're not starting Corey Davis. I kind of like him. Like you want me to
If only I had a late second.
Yeah, I don't have any seconds for the next 2 years, but
I'm trying to get your 2023 second off a guy right now. Yeah, so Bryan Edwards is next, which is ironic because I traded Deontay Johnson for Bryan Edwards and N'Keal Harry. So, but I still have a lot of faith in him. There's still ample opportunity in this offense. Aguilar's gone. That's 82 targets. They bring in John Brown. You know, what's going to happen? It's very concerning that the O-line is kind of a weird deal, and I still am not trusting.
They got Leatherwood, you know. They're good.
Dude, he's pretty good, though.
He's fine.
People talk about him, and then they throw shade on Jackson Carman in Cincinnati, but, like, these are still talented guys, so. I like Leatherwood.
Take my shots when I can.
Oh yeah, I'm with you. That Senior Bowl footage of that offensive tackle was just horrible. Like, what are we talking about right now? So I'm not even running through the stat line because it was sad. He missed 6 games. He was a guy that was drafted at the mid-third round in the NFL draft. He did great things in South Carolina, set a couple top 5 in their receiving records, and then got the Jones fracture and couldn't compete in the combine. So I think that there's a little bit of like, he still kind of has hidden value, in my opinion. He's a hold, so. Oh,
for sure he's a hold. I echo pretty much everything you said, but I will say efficiency, man. Like he didn't have a lot of production, but the efficiency that he had when he was on the field, he had a 92% adjusted catch rate, which is one of the highest I've seen since we've started doing research like that. That's insane. I mean, he only had 14 targets, but he had 11 catches out of it. Like,
well, there you go. He had almost 200 yards on 11 catches.
Yeah, exactly.
And you think like, oh, maybe he had a bomb. Like his longest play was 26 yards.
Yeah, he was averaging 17 and a half yards per reception. Like that's good, but it's not like you wouldn't think you would get it on 14 catches up that high. And then he had a passer rating when targeted of 142.6. I don't know if you guys know this, but a perfect passer rating is 153.8. Like,
so we're all in on Bryan Edwards.
Yeah, like I like him. He's definitely a hold. I like Watt. Like,
I
keep an eye on
dude.
him because, I mean, all he's got to do is prove that he's the most efficient guy on their offense, and you would think a smart coach would keep putting that guy in the field now.
Well,
here we go.
See if we consider John Gruden a smart coach, but
I like his style. I don't like him at all. But I like his style. So you want to talk about roster clogs? I pretty much got the rest of these guys. Devin Duvernay, not much change as far as the cast around him, except for Rashad Bateman is in town, and
Sammy Watkins,
Tylan
Wallace.
I'm just not even counting those guys, dude. Come on. What do you think?
He had OTA hype.
You just tell me because, I just want him to keep his head in the game.
Yeah.
Just put in the work because he can be the number 3 receiver on this team behind. Actually, I think he could be the number 2 behind Rashad Bateman, but that's just wishful thinking. I'm too close to this one, man. If you got anything to say about him,
I mean, it's just they didn't have Dick on their offense for wide receiver, and he still only got 25 targets last year.
Whatever. Willis needs a man.
And then they brought in 3 wide receivers, and they still have Hollywood Brown, and they still have Mark Andrews. I'm not against Duvernay. He's definitely a hold.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not saying, like, oh, drop him. He's going to be a bust. Because I like his talent level. But honestly, I have written in my notes here, poor Devin. Has a team ever brought in more people to fuck with a guy that's on the lower end of a roster? When you bring in Sammy Watkins, Tylan Wallace, and Rashad Bateman, now he went from competing for the number 2 spot now with like one other guy that he was clearly better than.
Yeah.
Now he's competing with 3 guys that I'm kind of like, well, any of them really. Bateman's better than him. Hollywood Brown is probably better than him, even though he's a one-trick pony.
I mean, in that offense, Duvernay could be more valuable than Hollywood.
That's fair. No, I'm 100% with you, and that's why he's a hold.
But then you have a high-octane tight end. So
you got to see how the Ravens' new-look offense goes.
I think he could probably be had for a late second. No, I'm just
Oh, fuck.
This is.
Let me get a late second.
I have something to say on this because
Okay.
it's like a lot of the running backs I roster where I think you know what you have by week 6.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I think he's a hold, but if it gets to week 6 and these rookies are outperforming him or he's not doing anything, I think it's a time to like kind of cut bait. Like you'll kind of know at that point.
Well, if he stays on the in the return game over Tylan Wallace, then I'm keeping him. But if Julio had gone to the Ravens, he would have been off my roster for a rookie in a heartbeat.
Oh, definitely. To KJ Hamler.
Call me if Watson gets traded. They don't care about KJ Hamler. No, I'm kidding. I like Hamler, but there's just so many mouths to feed with an inept QB in Denver. Tim Patrick had 23 more targets than KJ Hamler, and now you're adding Courtland Sutton back into the mix. I don't know. I don't see. He's a hold again. I'll preface this with the second year guys. There's not many busts for me. Obviously, like I'm gonna hold on to a lot of them because I like their talent.
Yeah,
Hamler is one of those guys, but I don't know. With Courtland Sutton coming back, Tim Patrick already out targeting him, and Jerry Jeudy was the number 1 target on that offense, and you got Noah Fant. I don't know. I'm not buying it.
Yeah, I'm a hold on him. The thing that bothers me the most about KJ Hamler is the Seth Williams pick.
Yeah, that too. Yeah.
Because you're looking at second-round capital, 46th overall. You think you wouldn't need that if you just picked up Jerry Jeudy and you already had Sutton and Fant. Like, what the fuck? Like, seriously. Patrick Surtain, yes, amazing. But you know who probably hold your team together and make him competitive? Justin Fields. Like, why are you even playing with us, Denver?
Dude, they thought they were getting Aaron Rodgers. I promise you that's what it was.
Dude, that's okay. Whatever.
I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
No, man. I mean, clearly they weren't like, no, we're a cornerback away from competing.
Yeah.
I mean, I get it. This is actually a pretty deep cornerback class, so I don't know. I can't even with them.
No, they should have taken Justin Fields. You're 100% right to be angry. I would have loved that as a Jeudy owner. Like, give me a fucking accurate passer.
Oh, yeah.
And Hamler would at least have, like, emergency flex possibility if he has a quarterback. But with Drew Lock, no, he doesn't. He doesn't have any. There are some guys that, like, I want on my roster in case shit hits the fan, I lose my top 3 wide receivers, and I just need a guy to play. Hamler's talent level makes him seem like one of those guys.
Yeah.
But with Drew Lock, I can't do it. Like,
yeah, his ceiling is Sterling Shepard.
yeah, max. So, and that's a good year.
Yeah. Speaking of good year, let's roll our tires over to. No, I'm just
That was pretty good.
So we got Van Jefferson up next.
Van.
I'm a huge Van Jefferson fan. Obviously.
You got it, huh?
I didn't get it very quickly, but I got there in the end.
I was hoping he'd do like a wing, like kind of do like a Jefferson airplane kind of thing.
Oh, I got you.
There's a lot of
White
ways
Rabbit. All right, 81 targets left behind by Josh Reynolds, 62 by Everett. But then you look at these guys brought in Deshaun Jackson, Jacob Harris, Tutu Atwell. Things could get a little weird, but they also brought in Matt Stafford. So this is a guy who could unlock the potential in the offense. And I'm still holding Van Jefferson. And actually, I'm pretty excited about him, to be honest with you. His stat line was a little rusty. Put him right at about 11 yards per catch, 1 touchdown. He saw the field regularly, but was not utilized in any kind of a substantial way until towards the very end. And what are you going to do?
I think he's a hold. I'm not excited about holding him as you are. First of all, he's a 25-year-old second-year guy when the season starts.
Yeah. He's old.
Way too old for a second-year guy to me.
He'd have to transfer, in college. That sets him back a little bit.
I'm not blaming him for being old. I'm just saying.
I am.
But
no one wants an old
But no,
man.
just like
There's
you
no
said,
Volkswagen.
they've got Woods, they've got Kupp. Now they bring in Jackson. They bring in Atwell and Harris. And Atwell, lest we forget, was a second-round pick and the first pick that the Rams had. So they want to do something with him. I don't know if it's going to work. But I definitely think
the limbo champion of the world, Tutu Atwell.
I will say that I'm with you. I think Jefferson can compete with Jackson for that third target share.
I mean, we got to
100%.
keep in mind, Jackson's going to see at least 20, 21 snaps before his legs break.
Yeah, I think Jefferson could definitely be the third guy there, which is why I'm holding him, but I'm just not as optimistic as you are about it.
That's like my low key stack because I got Stafford and Van
Yeah,
Jefferson, so I'm like maybe he's not cracking my lineup, but like I've always been. He's got really good execution, really good footwork, really good route tree. He's the son of an NFL wide receivers coach, so
yeah,
he's got like the work ethic on it. He's not Anthony Miller or something.
Atlanta, right?
That's where he played.
His dad, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
this is his mom.
She's from SoCal.
Bitch, get out the way. Luda!
Speaking of Donovan McNabb.
Jesus.
Donovan Peoples
That was
Jones.
a stretch.
Yeah.
I was watching a 2002 Vikings versus Atlanta game last night. It was
2002?
sweet, dude. Yeah, it was awesome.
Oh, that was like...
Culpepper and Moss, and it was sick, dude.
Yeah, fuck the Falcons.
Yeah.
But anyway, Donovan's People Jones.
I'm putting him as a hold. This is
for
like
sure.
a future.
I dropped him like a week ago, but yeah, he's
Okay.
for sure.
Well, you got OBJ, which hopefully, I mean, like I like Odell, like I always have.
Yeah.
And I just want to see him. I just want to see him play and like be Odell again. That would make me very happy.
No, I'm with you. My thing with Peoples Jones though is you should hold him because I'm with you. I like Odell.
Yeah. 1 year for Higgins.
1 year for Higgins. Odell has the highest cap number of anybody on the team this year, followed very closely by Jarvis Landry.
Yeah.
So, like, your two top guys are wide receivers, and they're great wide receivers. Odell hasn't really produced as a Brown, but Jarvis Landry certainly has. But let me name you a few guys that they're going to have to pay soon. Denzel Ward has a fifth-year option they have to pick up. Baker Mayfield has a fifth-year option they have to pick up. Nick Chubb is a free agent at the end of this year.
Trade him, cut him, get him out.
Wyatt Teller, free agent at the end of this year, making one of their line, one of the best run blocking lines and best lines overall in the league.
Where's Jack Conklin at?
T. Higgins and Chris Hubbard, all
Higgins?
Wait,
are
Rashad
free
Higgins?
agents. Or
yeah.
sorry, Rashad Higgins.
Wait, isn't Kareem Hunt a free agent after this?
No.
year?
No, they
he's got a
re-signed him
2-year.
for 2
Oh,
years.
for two. Okay.
So all
he's
those
taking over
guys are
after
free
Chubb
agents, and I'm kind of like, maybe they get rid of Odell and Landry
Yeah.
and keep Peoples Jones. So that's why he hasn't produced so far. I mean, he had 304 yards and 2 touchdowns as a rookie. He had 21.7 yards per reception, which is pretty crazy. But that's why I'm holding him. I couldn't hold him because I just had people that I thought were better on my roster.
Yeah.
But I do not blame people for holding him because, man, I might end up picking him back up at some point because there's a route to him being, maybe even if he's not the most talented receiver, there's a route to him being the number 2 receiver on that team. Easy.
Dude, I mean, I was huge on him coming out of college. Like, he's nasty. Now that I know you dropped him, I might have to just feather him in, man. Because I'm huge on him. And like I said, straight up, it says this is the waiting game, you know?
Yeah.
So they got, is it Anthony Schwartz?
Yeah, they drafted him too.
So those two guys, I mean, it could be the future of this run-first offense. So
I said, let me go pick him up right quick.
Yeah, you better pick him back
Too late.
up. Yeah, after our rookie draft last year, he was the coin flip between him and Tyler Johnson. I ended up picking up Tyler Johnson.
No, I liked having him, but I don't know.
You like the Big Ten, apparently.
That's right.
All right.
Because I'm a Big Ten.
Nice.
But, I'm no archangel.
Too bad he doesn't have someone dropping him dimes.
Yeah, I was trying to make a Gabriel.
Oh, fuck, yeah, I got my bad. Interrupted.
All right, so Gabriel Davis. He's clearly, in my opinion, kind of the fourth fiddle on the Buffalo offense for this year.
What?
But Beasley and Sanders are probably gone after this year. I think they're taking one more year to groom a 22-year-old Gabriel Davis. Mm-hmm. I mean, I don't think he's going to out-target Beasley or Sanders.
While they're fighting over that slot role.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I mean, he might, but pretty soon it's going to be Diggs and Davis alone. So I'm still super interested in Davis. Like, you need to go after him for sure.
My notes say looks like a strong number 2 wide receiver on this team.
Well, he only had 35 catches, 600 yards.
That's
7
insane.
touchdowns.
That is insane.
Touchdowns.
Are you telling me that every 5th catch was a touchdown?
Yeah, that is what I'm telling you, and I think those numbers are inconsistent.
That's just how good Diggs is.
That's the step forward that.
I just don't think he's not gonna. I don't think he'll win you a championship this year, but you should go after him because I think he could turn into a superstar.
Yeah,
absolutely. I think he could.
I think his hype's too high to get him right now.
Well, that's fair.
It's
Probably
not
have
going
to overpay
down
for him.
They didn't do anything in the draft, so you know what I mean. You bring in Emmanuel Sanders, and you're like, oh man, so much for Gabriel Davis. Like nah, that's not the case whatsoever. So I think
Sanders could have been good if he didn't have noodle arm Drew Brees throwing him the ball last year.
What about Jimmy Garoppolo, man? Like he didn't unlock that
too.
talent. I'm just
Sucks
joking.
too.
I'm just joking. I think Emmanuel Sanders is a sleeper this year.
Yeah.
Cole, I like you, Beasley. You're beastly, but I'm over the Mooney about this next guy, Darnell Mooney.
Oh, for fuck's sake!
Ah.
Now you're just
I'm just
stretching it.
hey, man.
Hey,
I'm grasping
fair
at
Just
enough.
like
straws.
Darnell Mooney.
Yeah.
I was going out on a whims there.
Hey, I like that. I still love Wims on this team. I've always loved Wims. He came in with that 2019 class alongside of Anthony Miller. Yeah, Javon Wims, dude. I still like him.
Oh wait, we're not talking about Mooney? I thought
Yeah,
were
we are.
talking
This
about
is
Mooney.
like he's like an undrafted free agent on the Bears that I've always just been super into.
Yeah.
That's never going to get the opportunity.
Yeah.
But I still like him. So yeah, Daz Newsome has got an injury going into camp.
He does.
Anthony Miller has got apparently just all the talent in the world and a bad attitude, which I can relate to. So that's cool, dude. But
Oh no, these next 2
Hashtag-
episodes are gonna be rough.
oh man. But you got Justin Fields in the house now, right? You got a coaching staff that's fighting for their jobs right now. Mm-hmm. And then you have Anthony Miller approaching his last year of the rookie deal, and you got Allen Robinson on the tag. And the rest of the team hasn't really changed at all from last year, where you were semi-successful. So I think, get in on him. I don't know. It's kind of a toss-up between him and Gabe Davis. But they're both holds for me.
Oh yeah, they're both holds. I mean, Mooney got 94 targets, 61 catches, pretty good with inept quarterback play. And Fields,
You mean the Nickelodeon Player of the Year?
dude.
MVP.
Gag.
Fields, his biggest strength, in my opinion, is his accuracy. And so you end up giving a guy like Mooney, who has all the speed in the world to go blow by people and get open.
Yeah.
Now you give a guy that actually can deliver him the ball. That could be dangerous. It absolutely could be. But he's definitely a hold for me just because you haven't seen it yet.
I'm buying him now. You just talked me into it. Dude.
But no, I think you should buy him. I think if you can get him,
I thought Fields' biggest strength was Chris Olave, and you just told me that Darnell Mooney is going to be his Chicago Chris Olave.
There you go.
So
hey, it could happen.
let me get this. I'm gonna have to. I'll be back.
And I mean, hey, the Bears went after their offensive line, which was their weakest point. And
I thought that was
well, okay, so their quarterback was, but then
I thought it was the coaching staff.
We're in the same room in case you
Was it
didn't
the
know.
I thought it was the coaching staff.
Listen,
Well,
Matt Nagy
okay,
is
so-
out.
Oh,
He's
I
on the
thought-
last year of a rookie deal.
Sorry, I thought it was the fan base. My bad.
okay, so they have a lot of holes.
oh,
for sure.
shit.
The Bears have a lot of holes, but I mean, they went after the offensive line, tried to improve it. Then they got Fields. Like, I don't know, man. I'm into Mooney. I think anybody that trades for Mooney, I'm not surprised.
It's about to happen right live.
He just got traded, bro.
He
Oh,
did just
dude.
get traded to Praxis.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Then he's as good as mine. Son. Well, you know what? It doesn't
Anyway,
matter.
yeah, I'm buying
Sorry.
Mooney if you can. I'm not overpaying for him just because I'm not a guy that's going to overpay for things I haven't seen yet. Just because I believe that Fields is going to be good, and I believe that the offensive line of the Bears is going to be better, and I believe that that's a lot of ifs, you know.
Yeah.
So I'm not going to overpay for him, but if I can get him, I mean, there was just a couple times that because I watch a lot of Bears games just because I watch all the Packers games, but there were times where he's catching like 50-yard bombs that could have been 60-yard touchdowns just because Mitchell Trubisky threw it 10 yards behind where
Yeah.
it needed to go. So if Fields can fix that, man, those
You just
TD numbers,
You just sent a trade, didn't you?
Yeah.
those TD numbers could go from 4
I modified
to
a trade.
7, 8 yards could go to 800 yards. Like, I don't think that's unreasonable. So, I like him more than Davis, Jones, Jefferson. Like more than most of the people we just talked about. I like Mooney more. So,
I agree. Well, and the biggest bump, he got the biggest bump from the quarterback carousel. In my opinion, I thought Justin Fields was the best quarterback. I like this guy a lot.
Yeah.
I thought he was. I would have drafted him over Trevor Lawrence. You know, the way he played down the stretch last year, and just the way he fought through, you know, down games and comebacks and maintained his composure. And just found a way to be
do that
successful.
a lot in Chicago.
Only for a year, and then they get a real coach.
No, I'm with you. I don't know that I would go as far as to say that I thought he was better than Trevor Lawrence, but I definitely thought he was the second best quarterback in the draft.
That's okay. I'll give you a year to accept it when Urban Meyer runs Trevor Lawrence.
Well, I wouldn't even blame Trevor Lawrence for that. I'd blame Urban Meyer, who I'm already out on. Anyway, that's our wide receiver episode.
Whoa. Wide receiver.
So-
if there's anything we could learn from this episode is we should be not DJ Shark on our Indians and get better and faster and stronger.
Yeah, just be like the best person.
Yeah.
Like, just, you see the best one, just be him. Like, I don't know.
Well,
I'm not
second
gonna give
best.
you.
He didn't say B Stephon Diggs.
I'm not gonna